Good evening. Thousands of troops poured into the Xinjiang capital of Urumqi today to restore order after days of rioting involving Han Chinese and Uyghurs. But there have been reports of more demonstrations and clashes, even as soldiers try to control the ethnic violence that is threatening to undermine the region. Troops and armed police put on a massive show of force in Urumqi today as thousands of soldiers poured into the city. Wearing body armor and carrying semi-automatic weapons, they set up blockades and cordon off sections of the Xinjiang capital. It's all part of a massive security crackdown following days of rioting involving the city's Uyghur Muslims and its Han Chinese community. But the situation is still very unstable, and more demonstrations were reported today involving groups of Hans and Uyghurs. There have also been reports of scattered clashes between the two ethnic groups. With fear and mistrust between the local communities growing, local residents say they are not taking any chances and are carrying weapons to protect themselves. The potential for more violence is still high, and troops have been positioned at key points around the city to keep the peace and round up any troublemakers. Chanting slogans such as "Defend and serve the people," the troops were determined to send a message that authorities are in control of the city and that its citizens are safe. The Hans, who are the dominant ethnic group in the city, say the Uyghurs started the violence and are angry at the failure of security forces to protect their community. They welcome the arrival of the soldiers, applauding as dozens of troop carriers rolled into town. Today, Urumqi's Communist Party chief Li Zhi promised the death penalty for anyone found guilty of murder during the riots. But there's also a sense that authorities are struggling to control the situation. The entire province is on edge after rioting and clashes left scores dead and hundreds more wounded since the unrest started on Sunday. Uyghurs say what started was a peaceful demonstration against a brawl between Uyghurs and Han Chinese in a Guangdong toy factory several weeks ago. They claim that their community has borne the brunt of the casualties and arrests rather than the Han Chinese. Hundreds have been detained since the violence broke out, and many shops and businesses remain closed, with the priority now to restore order in the troubled region. And with the situation still tense in Xinjiang, President Hu Jintao pulled out of a G8 summit meeting in Italy and rushed back to Beijing because of the rioting in Urumqi. While people welcome the president's return, it's not known if Hu will travel to the troubled region. ATV's Jeff Tang has that story.
It was a rare move by Beijing that showed how bad the situation in Xinjiang is. President Hu Jintao, who was in the middle of a state visit to Italy, was forced to abandon his plans to attend a Group of 8 summit there, which will also see US President Barack Obama take part. The foreign ministry said Hu had to cut short his trip given the current situation in Xinjiang. State Councillor Dai Bingguo will represent China at the summit on behalf of Hu. The move was welcomed by residents back home. Because of all the riots happening in Xinjiang, it will be very bad if our president doesn't come back to handle the situation, said this man. That's why I think his returning to China is good news. I think it is definitely necessary, this woman said. The president's return to China shows that he cares about the citizens' security. He needs to maintain stability. Hu arrived back in Beijing this afternoon, but it is not known if he will travel to Urumqi, a roughly 4-hour flight from the capital. Jeff Tang, ATV News.
Here in Hong Kong, the Legislative Council has lashed out at the Equal Opportunities Commission for dismissing the findings of an audit report in April. Lawmakers accused Chairman Raymond Tang of failing to provide the leadership necessary to deal with the Commission's problems. ATV's Anne Cho reports.
It wasn't that long ago that the Equal Opportunities Commission, or EOC, was criticized for its poor governance and for the way it spent its money. A report unveiled by the Director of Audit in April raised concerns about how the commission was run. But it looks like the EOC is under fire again. At the Legislative Council today, Public Accounts Committee Chairman Philip Wong criticized the EOC for neglecting the serious underlying problems that were listed out in the audit report. One of the issues the committee found unacceptable was the way the EOC wasn't more moderate and conservative when deciding how to spend its money. The audit report had criticized EOC Chairman Raymond Tang for being generous when paying for overseas duty visits, as well as spending money on office air purifiers, even when the air quality was said to be excellent. Wang also said the committee found it appalling that the EOC considered the problems and recommendations as trivial and insignificant during a board meeting in March with its members. That seemed to imply that they didn't take the report's findings seriously and didn't want to deal with problems that existed within the commission. That wasn't all. Wang also lashed out at Tang, saying it was inexcusable that he failed to provide the leadership needed to meet the corporate governance and management standards expected from a publicly funded statutory body. The committee has called on the Equal Opportunities Commission to make the appropriate improvements. Ann Choi, ATV News.
The man suspected of killing and burying a whole family was taken back to the crime scene in the New Territories today as police tried to find out exactly what had happened. ATV's Eddie Lee has more.
The 42-year-old mainland man, suspected of killing and burying a family of 4, was taken back to the crime scene in Pengchi village today to reconstruct the gruesome events that allegedly took place on Sunday night. Tempers flared between police and reporters as they tried to get close up for a glimpse of the suspect, but were blocked by officers who formed a human chain. The bodies of the Tam family, all bound with wires on their hands and legs, were dug up yesterday from a 1.5-meter deep makeshift grave, an operation that took police 13 hours. The father, 43-year-old Chinese university clerk Tam Xing-fai, was reported missing by his boss when he didn't show up for work on Monday and couldn't be contacted. Police arrived in Pengchi village later in the day and found Tam's mainland cousin, surnamed Ho, acting nervously in a nearby house. They led Ho back to Tam's house where they found bloodstains on the walls. A brief interrogation led him to confess on the spot that he had killed and buried Tam's family. Ho, who's from Zhongshan, entered Hong Kong on a 7-day double-entry visa and was working illegally as a decorator. He had been coming here regularly for 2 years and had always stayed with Tam. Police believe the suspect had an argument with Tam about money. Apparently, Tam was also angry that his cousin had developed an affection for his wife. Ho stabbed him several times. Then, still brandishing the knife, tied up Tam's wife and his 2 children, aged 10 and 7, and covered their noses and mouths with duct tape. He dug the hole and dumped the whole family inside, then sealed the top with cement. The police found no marks on the bodies of Tam's wife or the 2 children, which has led to speculation that they were buried alive. The police say they will not confirm the cause of death until the autopsies are carried out. Eddie Lee, ATV News.
Well, President Hu Jintao has returned to Beijing. The leaders of the world's top industrial nations are in the Italian city of L'Aquila to attend the G8 summit. The city was struck by an earthquake in April, which left 60,000 people homeless. Protesters spread a huge banner on a hill overlooking the G8 venue that said, "Yes, we camp," a play on one of US President Barack Obama's campaign catchphrases. The 3-day summit will focus on the financial crisis, international development and climate change. Family, friends and tens of thousands of fans said their final farewells to pop superstar Michael Jackson at a massive memorial ceremony in Los Angeles. It was part variety show, part emotional gathering and a showbiz send-off that the king of pop would have been proud of. ATV's Anne Sim reports.
Pop superstar Michael Jackson's final grand entrance, with his brothers at his side, each wearing his trademark single glove. It was the Jackson family's wish to allow tens of thousands of fans to share in this memorial at the Staples Center in Los Angeles last night. And it was a star-studded event the world will never forget. Jackson's celebrity friends paid tribute to him through song.
Help your children and don't let them fall by the side of the road.
As well as the next generation of stars who were inspired by him.
Born to amuse, to inspire, to delight, here one day.
The Jackson family too joined in to sing Heal the World. While brother Jermaine sang Michael's favourite song.
If you smile with your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow.
It was a memorial that was part variety show, part emotional tribute.
To the people who were lucky enough to know him personally, he was caring and funny, honest, pure, non-jaded, and he was a lover of life.
There were also emotional speeches from the Jackson family.
I was his voice and his backbone. I had his back, so did the family. But we thank you. That's all I can say. We thank you very much.
But there was probably not a dry eye in the house when the pop superstar's 11-year-old daughter came up to the microphone, flanked by the Jackson family.
Ever since I was born, Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine. And I just wanted to say I love him so much.
And with that, the King of Pop's story was given a very showbiz ending.
Well, across the country in New York and beyond, Michael Jackson fans gathered to say their goodbyes to the King of Pop.
We're here not to mourn of Michael Jackson, we're here to celebrate his legacy.
And it was a way of life for him to put his all into his craft. It wasn't weird to me, it wasn't a wild obsession, it was him being who he was supposed to be.
Well, I was gonna go home and watch it on TV, but I just feel like I wanted to be around other people. You know, Michael was everyone's performer. He was for the people.
Well, I feel like he's touched a lot of people in this world, whether or not you agree with whatever happened with him. Like, his music just stands the test of time.
I'm wearing this for him, this is from 1988 Bad Tour. This is for him.
Viva Michael! Sarete los mejores!
And nothing is for real. It's possible.
This is part of American culture. Michael Jackson's like Elvis, like Sinatra. When somebody who's captivated the imagination of the country for that long passes away, people pay attention. And I assume at some point people will start focusing again on things like nuclear weapons.
I dance a lot, and every dance move I have in me is what I learned from him.
How could this be? You're not here.
He just gives a lot of music and lots of dance and lots of love to the world.
It was really sad. And I think that he's just going to be greatly missed by a lot of people.
Peace for that.
I still can't believe it.
Smile.
2 seconds left.
Your heart's breaking.
Well, it's time now for sport. And Olympic champion Usain Bolt ran the 4th fastest time over 200 metres, despite the treasures.
將薩丁島籌備峰會嘅2億歐元開支用喺阿夫拉嘅重建工程，不過災區嘅重建工作仍然進展緩慢。 當地喺4月發生6.3級地震，造成近300人死亡，5萬幾人無家可歸。有線電視記者黃展橋報道。
新疆嘅局勢大致穩定，但仍然有零星嘅衝突。國家主席胡錦濤罕有縮短外訪嘅行程，提早返國。但今朝社評點講啦？信報認為局勢雖然平定，但掀起嘅風波可能仲未結束，要最高領導人親自處理。騷亂嘅嚴重性可能仲未完全公開。雖然中央政府將騷亂成因歸咎係國外勢力煽動，但如果唔係內部出咗問題，埋下不穩定嘅因素，一場過千人傷亡嘅事故冇可能突然發生。有2個可能嘅因素值得留意。其一就係前蘇聯瓦解之後，烏茲別克、哈薩克等民族紛紛獨立建國，呢股風潮影響住以維吾爾族人為主嘅新疆。另外，新疆少數民族喺接受教育同埋宗教信仰都得唔到充分嘅照顧，長期令維族人處於社會嘅低層，最終就釀成騷亂。
蘋果日報就引用前南斯拉夫做例子，指出種族矛盾一發難收，就算內戰平息後，各種族之間嘅關係仍然好緊張。今次騷亂反映出維漢兩族嘅相處並唔係外表睇咁融洽，雙方好多誤會同唔信任嘅地方。事件如果只係由漢人主導嘅北京政府調查同處理，少數民族未必會接受同信服。如果北京可以邀請國際組織或者外國專家學者協助調查，維族民眾肯定對調查更有信心，亦可以減少國際社會嘅質疑。